You're in an unusual position.
Yes.
Of seeing a movie where the two main characters are watching their character come to life,
Yes.
while that is actually happening to you in actual life.
Yes, this is insane. It feels like a dream. Like I actually feel like I might still be dreaming right now.
Well, wake up, honey.
Yeah.
Because you got a girl with a cape talking to you. Can you just talk about like that first inkling of having a film adaptation made of these books? Because there's so many of them. They're so popular in so many languages.
Well, it's kind of tough, you know, when you have characters that you've kind of based on yourself and a story that's based on my childhood. It really does feel like it's something that's so close to me. So as the books turned into a series, it was a little difficult to let it go. It kind of sort of seems like if you would have a child of your own and the child grows up, you wanted to meet somebody who is wonderful and loving and kind so that they can start their own new life. And luckily, we got David Soren. My child met David Soren, and everything just took off from there.
David, can you talk about having worked with DreamWorks for a very long time and what kind of new challenges or new excitement that you had with this particular project?
Well, for starters, I didn't want to mess up his child. No, I discovered these books about 20 years ago. I happened to be in a bookstore right when the first book was hitting the shelves, and I picked up a copy of it and looked at it, and I'm like, Captain Underpants, this is silly. And I was leafing through the pages, and I think probably read about half of the book right there in the aisle of this bookstore. So I wished I had come up with it myself in that moment. So it was really a very easy decision for me when the studio approached me and asked if I would direct the movie. It was sort of, yes, let's go.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do this.
And Kevin, can you guys talk about how the voiceover was recorded? Because there are a lot of different ways and methods that can be used.
So, much like the way this interview is being conducted, we spoke into microphones that recorded our voices. And that is then matched to the picture.
Yes.
But we actually were really lucky to get in the studio together. That almost never happens in animated movies. And David thankfully was like, no, I want these guys in the room, I want their chemistry and improving and riffing, and so that was a special treat. Even though Kevin doesn't wear deodorant.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I come and I also do it with my shirt off.
Yeah. Yeah.
All voiceover in the booth.
In your underpants.
He's actually promoting Kevin Hart deodorant.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing that I have. No, I think we were very lucky, man. David is amazing at what he does, and we had great material to work with, of course. And you know, when you're looking at a book that has this type of following, you just want to make sure that you do your job in bringing justice to an already successful franchise. And having Ed as a guy to play off of, as well as Thomas and the rest of the cast that we had, it made it easier when you saw what people were doing with their characters. So I think I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to be a part of it. I'm very lucky to have the people that I had to bounce off of to ultimately make what we think is a great film that people are going to enjoy.
It has such an amazing heart. It's so sweet.
No pun intended.
Hey everybody, welcome Thomas Middleditch here.
So Hollywood. He was like this every day.
I was.
Every day he was like this.
I enjoy making people wait for me. I think it's a 100% power move. I'm the alpha in this room. You all know.
We were talking about bringing this to life and how it exists in the book world already, but then there was improv that kind of brought it to life for you guys. Can you talk about that experience of exactly what kind of came out of improv sessions for you and your character?
Oh, I think it's just about finding those little moments that give you insight to the character, but also can add a button or a little spicy joke within the scene. I think that the improv elements are about adding little bits to whatever's on the script already. I mean, you can't improv your way out of what the character is already because there's so much there. You just have to sort of like absorb everything that you know and spew out gold, as they say in the biz. Because we all say that.
Yeah, I said it before you got here.
Oh, so you already did
I
that.
already used the spew out gold.
Okay. So.
We really actually, we had a kind of an unprecedented amount of involvement from these guys on this movie. Normally, you know, the usual protocol is we do all the sessions, and then at the very end, when the movie's pretty much all polished, the actors come in, they see it, they get hopefully excited to go do stuff like this. And in our case, because you guys are all involved in these super early table reads, and bringing so much improvisation and character development to each of these recordings, we brought you guys in, many of you at least, to like an early cut of the movie, like a year and change ago.
Yeah.
It was, you know, hardly polished at that point and a bit brutal. To get.
Oh, and we tore it apart. We eviscerated everything we saw.
I don't think there's ever been people that were harder on an animation rough cut than what we were. This is not
They did not hold back. They did not hold back.
Thank God you screened it for us because I think we saved it.
Yeah.
Through improv.
100%.
We improved this movie into genius.
Yeah. 100% correct, Ed. I didn't know if you were going to say it or not, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
We definitely saved this movie.
There's a little bit of truth to that.
I remember watching it and I was like, more Kevin. I said that. I said that to you, David. That's not enough, Kevin. And we fixed that. We did. So
Well, you wanted to change the name to just
Kevin Underpants. Kevin
Kevin
Underpants.
Underpants.
I tried at one point. Nobody else bought it. It was a great pitch. It was a great pitch. That's what the whole.
That was originally going to be your stage name. I
Yes,
thought,
Kevin
right?
Underpants.
I'm disturbed by the YouTube videos that you've been putting out.
Yeah.
Kevin Underpants.
Kevin
But
Underpants. I said whatever. It's infringement. I don't want to talk about it because it's fine.
Kevin Underpants, huge social following. Okay, Rama.
Yes, this movie comes out on the same Friday as Wonder Woman. So who's gonna win between
Wonder Woman doesn't stand a shot.
Marvel doesn't make successful movies, and that's DC anyway.
Everyone knows that. There's no following behind Wonder Woman. We'll be fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to first congratulate all of you. This is just absolutely fantastic, and it surpasses, I hate to say it, it surpasses the fun of all the books. You really elevated it to a new level.
I agree.
I want to ask Thomas and Kevin, how much like your characters were you in 4th grade?
Oh, wow.
Especially you, Kevin, because this is,
Wow.
I think, the best role you've ever had.
Listen, this is my honestly most challenging performance. Actually, you know what's funny is I think what David was able to do, yes, it's an animation and yes, it's a kid's movie, but you want to make sure that you're grounding, the performance to a certain level of believability within all the fun that you're doing. And it was really pulling from a lot of the things you do in life. And as a kid, I was very much a prankster. I was very much always in trouble because I didn't want to stop laughing. I loved laughing in school and I loved making other people laugh. And in school, that's the worst thing that you can do in a class is be the funny guy because nobody's focusing. Everybody's being funny. Everybody's passing around letters and pulling chairs from underneath the teacher. It was just me. But I really very much was like my character, and I think that's cool. That's what was cool about the movie, and I love the relationship that Thomas and I had, that those characters had, because in school that best friend is very important. That close friend that you have, that you open up to, that you're talking to on a different level on a day-to-day basis, you're confiding in at a young age. That's dope to me. I think that's something that kids can relate to, that they're going to pull away from this film and say, I not only understand that, I get that, but I live that, I am that.
Yeah.
That comment was sponsored by Kevin Hart.
Yes.
I was also very heroic as a child.
Almost constantly nearly nude. I'll just say that I agree. I sort of later became sort of a jokester in class, but bizarrely, I just realized it the other day. I was like, oh, I had curly hair. I drew comic books, and I like to giggle and laugh. And I probably needed a George, but I never got one. So that was more of a solitary effort. But bizarrely, I was a weird kid who liked to draw comics. So that's pretty strange. Just picture a sadder, more lonely Harold Hutchins.
Go ahead. My question is also about the friendship between George and Harold, because I think that's really kind of at the center of this film. And you were talking, Kevin, a little bit about a friend of yours that was kind of like, you had a Harold in your life. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And are you still friends?
Oddly, no. I'm the guy that makes it and I stop talking to people. Just so it's stated out. I don't want there to be a rumor. That's a fact. No, I had a friend named Khalil when I was coming up, man, and you couldn't separate us. He was my right hand guy, and to this day when I go back to Philadelphia, he comes out to shows and supports, and we speak, but we're not as close as we used to be. But in school, I wasn't in trouble without him. He wasn't in trouble without me. And I think it's amazing when you get in trouble with somebody all the time, because it's hard to punish two people on the same level. Like you start to give them credit because you're like, they're really good kids. They just like to have fun. We were very much fun pranksters though. Like our trouble wasn't malicious. It was just notes and doing mean stuff to girls sometimes. That was real big. And like if a girl didn't like me back, then I meant we're gonna pull your chair out from under you. Stuff like that. Cool stuff. All cool stuff. Chill cool stuff. You know what I'm saying, right?
Dave, so much of this book is from, I think you've said like it's from your experience somehow. What about you? What about your childhood friends?
I had childhood friends, but it was really just kind of me mostly getting in trouble at school by myself. They didn't have the term ADHD back in those days. If you've probably heard of that. It stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Delightfulness. That's what I had. And so my teacher would send me out in the hallway, and I'd spend so much time sitting out there away from the class that I still wanted to remain relevant, with my friends, and so I would draw pictures and make comics, and that's how I got to still be a part of everything.
Nice.
If you guys could hypnotize anybody from our society to change it for good, who would you do?
I wonder who you're insinuating.
Anybody you would.
No comment.
My father, so he would like me. Just kidding. My dad loves me. My dad loves me.
My question is actually for Ed. So you did voice for two characters, Captain and the Principal. Which one is more difficult for you? And is it hard to switch back and forth?
It wasn't terribly difficult. They're both super fun, and it was just like a blast to get into both. I think that Principal Krupp was a little harder maybe because he's more gruff, and it was just physically harder on my voice. My voice would get tired faster doing that. But then on the other hand, Captain Underpants is always so loud and always shouting, and so it was kind of taxing on my voice, but always just a ton of fun, just a ridiculous amount of fun. And it's really just sort of like doing the good and evil version of the same guy.
Mine was very tough because, as you guys see, I have a very deep voice. To find your inner 8-year-old. To find that inner child, and it's tough because I've been doing action comedies for a long time. So to go to a dark place.
Yeah,
This is a dark place.
It's like asking Barry White to sing soprano.
Yeah, it was tough.
And I normally have a really thick Icelandic accent. I'm doing my best to do what I think is an American accent.
Though what was actually hard was wondering. I just met Dave Pilkey, and I was always a little self-conscious. Like, is this the vision that Dave had? Am I doing this right? And I'm actually curious, especially the tra-la-la line. Is that like that could have been a million different things in your head? And I'm curious if what I did was acceptable.
It was totally wrong.
Oh no, is it too late?
Yeah, let's go back to editing. No, it's not the way I used to do it, because sometimes I don't know if they still sell Captain Underpants books in a box set, but you used to be able to open it up and it would say tra-la-la, and that's how, I did the voice for that. But
Wow.
But
Wow.
I gotta say,
This David made me do it that way.
I have to admit, you did it better.
No, thank you.
Tough room. That was tough.
That was a little.
That was tough.
Well, you always got to kind of reinvent every version of the
I had to make it
superhero.
my own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it.
You did do about 1 million versions of
Yeah.
Tra-la-la. And lots of different variations.
There's a solid tra-la-la session somewhere.
We have the archives. They were probably some in there, much like Dave suggested.
The good thing about Dave though is like when you didn't do it right, he kept his self-esteem high. Yeah, let's you want to just try it again?
You're also, David's such an incredible voice actor that you would sort of pitch things in character, and I was like, well, that's better than me.
Yeah.
Just do, you should just do it.
That's good. All right, you wanna let's just you wanna say we do you wanna just run through the whole thing one more time?
You're very good at like hiding the panic behind your eyes of, oh my god, how is this gonna work?
First, the real acting.
Yeah, there you go.
The title says the first epic movie. Can we expect to see more stories on the big screen? Of
I've
Captain
signed
Under-
on for 30.
Yeah.
Nice.
We can go ahead and confirm that now. Don't need any approval from anyone.
I've heard this, I haven't heard this from anyone, but I'm pretty sure that DreamWorks is committed to 30.
It's
Okay.
It's in the ballpark, I think.
We would love for this to go on. I mean, look, I think it's an actor's dream to be a part of any type of animation franchise that can live on, and you know everything is set up perfectly. So we're hoping that people go out and respond to the movie. But like I said, the following that this has, you know, that Captain Underpants has is a huge following. So the movie potential could be endless, but it's a business. So let's hope people respond and show up at the box office.
Thank you.
Do you guys sleep on your underpants? Can you describe your
I
pajamas?
don't have for quite some time.
You actually, at one point, we made you do a little singing in the movie, and I believe your comment was, I would rather do nudity than singing.
I actually was really uncomfortable with the singing. I said, are you sure? He's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. I said, no, I don't think you understand. I just don't do it. Like, this is where the character falls apart. He made me sing. You sounded great though.
I'm an angel. You get these pipes warmed up, I will bring all of you guys to tears. Do it.
You sounded great.
I'll make you cry, followed by please stop.
You got people on that wall over there.
Aha.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Hi. First of all, I was having a terrible day and I saw the screening and it completely turned my week around.
Damn right it
Joy.
did.
My question is, the film is very much about staying true to who you are and being with the people that you love despite a lot of adversity.
I thought it was about climbing the social ladder and
That's
demonstrating your own constitution. Okay, I guess we got different messages.
So my question is...
It works on a lot of levels.
So my question is, I was wondering if you could talk about points in your careers where you almost said yes to the no's that you often hear during your careers, and if you could give advice for struggling artists out there who are just looking for a little bit of faith and courage when they're just trying to chase their dreams.
Good moment. Yeah.
Wow.
You want to take that first set?
Well, I can tell you, I started out doing stand-up in New York, and actually Kevin and I overlapped, and we've known each other for 20 years almost from those days. And Kevin can probably tell you, I had some rough sets back then. I mean, it's when you start out in comedy, like you're just objectively not funny. Like you don't know what you're doing, and you're trying to make it work, and in a way, just night after night, these audiences are saying, "No, don't keep doing this. Stop, because you're bad at it." And I think thank God for the community of comedians that are there to kind of like reinforce it does take effort, it does, just hang in there, and like, you know, you can, the work's gonna pay off. And I that's what I love about comedy in particular. It's kind of entrepreneurial. It's like you can work at this thing and get better at it. And I think it's just, I always tell people, like, when you're feeling isolated and terrified about your creative process, or you're feeling scared about your dreams, to just find the people that share those dreams, and they're going to reinforce it, and be around those people. Because, you know, for me, being in New York around other comedians and at the Upright Citizens Brigade, where I've known Thomas a long time too. Yeah, it's just really cool. Just being around people that share that passion, and who also are stumbling along the way, it makes it feel possible.
I think one of the best answers that you can give for that type of question is, when you look at success and you look at the people who get to a quote unquote successful position in life, those are people who became comfortable with the word no. You know, people that are uncomfortable with the word no, and that allow themselves to turn around and backpedal from whatever their dream or goals were, because the word no just continues to gets thrown at you. Those are the people that 9 times out of 10 don't make it. The people that do survive are the ones that can shrug it off and let it roll over their back, because they understand and know that eventually that word yes is going to come, and when it does come, I'm going to be prepared for what's after it, because it should be a mountain of yeses to make up for the mountain of no's that I've gotten past. So ultimately, the strong survive, you know, the weak don't. And it's, for me, it's that simple. So when you say, what advice do you give? My advice for anybody that's coming up is simply stay true to your dreams, regardless of what you're told and what people may feel. Nobody knows you better than you. Be the best version of yourself. That's the best thing I can give. I just want you guys to quote that. That was all.